and this is Season 2, Episode 10. Tonight's interviewed band is Elimination, but before that, let's play some Sacrifice by Militia. Is a band who's had a 13-year hiatus in their activity, but they're back on the 7th of August with a new EP of Gods and Beasts. This is Ipswich's Elimination. Enjoy the interview. Okay, this week we welcome Ipswich Thrashers Elimination into the virtual studio. Hello guys, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourselves and missing members if you've got any, but I think you're all there, aren't you?
Yeah, we're all here. Yeah. So I'm Neil, bass and vocals.
Lee, guitars and sometimes backup vocals.
David, other guitars and other backup vocals.
Okay, so you guys as a band, the Elimination name's been around from about 2007-ish. Kind of 2 albums, EP, 2011. You all went a bit quiet. Kind of what happened in 2011 that kind of made you drop off the world for a little bit?
It's kind of like people became adults, basically. It's yeah, we did obviously in 2011 we did the Eval tour with Mutant as well. That was really good. Obviously, we released the album as well, the Blood Titans. The year later, we went on a tour with Traxxas. That was cool as well. Then sort of 2013, loads of the other members of the band were like, "Oh, I want to grow up, become a dad." But one guy moved to America with a girl, and the other one moved to Canada with a girl, and the other members just thought, I want to become adults. So they sort of disbanded, and got to the point where it's like, I was the only original member, and it's just trying to get 4 new members was a bit like, at that time I was like, I just couldn't be bothered. It's like, I thought if it wasn't going to be with the original members, I thought, just call it a day, wouldn't be the same. I'll put a hiatus and go from there. And yeah, so after a couple of years, after about 3 or 4 years, I sort of got the bug again, going to gigs. And yeah, so I thought, around about 2017, we had our 10-year anniversary. So I got a couple of the original members back to do like a couple of gigs, 10-year anniversary gigs. And I thought, you know what, I'm just going to carry on. This sounds all, I got the spark again, and I just want to get back out there and get the band going again.
So where did you find these 2 characters? How do you rope these into the gang?
Well, Dave's been playing in bands in Norwich, so I've sort of known him from Norwich for a couple of bands there. You want to say which bands you're in?
Yes, the minor was actually Ipswich. So,
yeah.
The minor was Ipswich based. So it was death metal, and then I had my own little really thrashy, silosis-y, metal-y stuff called Age of Ascension. That was probably must be about 10 years ago now. I've done some solo stuff as well. It's very, very not metal, but I think that's everything. Lots of covered bands.
Yeah.
And you?
And myself, well, to be fair, I mean, I first saw Elimination way back in 2008 in Ipswich at McGinty's Green Room. It was a tiny little sweat box in Ipswich, and I just went along and I was like, that's the sort of band I want to be playing in, you know. And I've always been a guitarist for a long time, but it's like fresh out of the military, you know, just working a civilian job, and I was like, I like these guys. And then I got my own band going, joint project with my workmates, Lucy and Sati, which were just basically a thrash band. Then I got picked up and been the front man for Stahlsarg for many years, you know, black metal band. And then one day there was basically just like, so would you like to come and play with us? And I was like, yeah. It's like thrash it's in my heart, man. It's like, yeah, let's do it. And then that's a couple of years ago, and we played with was it Birmingham O2? Hard Rock Hell, you know, and that was a couple of other gigs, and it's just like, man, this is why I want to play guitar, man. This is my shit. So it's been cool ever since.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So you started off as a bit of a fan and ended up in the band, which is always a nice Cinderella story.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember seeing like I say in that place, and I was thinking to myself, that's the sort of band I want to play in. But my God, that lead guitarist is better than me, so I don't think I'm ever going to be playing in that band. And then look what's happened. So yeah, cool.
Brilliant. So Neil, you've kind of as you've come back and you brought the band back, you picked the bass up as well. Is that was that kind of necessity because you couldn't find a bassist, or was that an inner feeling that you needed to have something on stage to protect yourself from the crowd?
Well, it's kind of a bit of both really. It was like I started playing bass basically during the hiatus. I sort of picked it up. Six strings are too complicated for me. And 4 strings, easy enough player. Root notes, awesome.
Open E's all day long.
Play with pick. If it's good enough for Lemmy, it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
So it's so I started doing that, twiddled along, and then I got the band back together. It was kind of trying to find a bass player. It's like there's like millions of guitarists everywhere, but it's just like every bass player I sort of spoke to they just flounced about and like they're a bit flaky. So I thought, you know what, I've been playing bass for a bit, sod it, I'll just do it myself. And I thought at least 4 members is better to sort of organise than 5. So I thought, 4 that'll do. I said, and then learned, just sort of picked up the singing and bass playing and just went ahead.
Was that a challenge at first? You know, obviously as the vocalist, you get used to delivering your vocals in a certain way. Did it kind of tie you down a little bit, or kind of did you quickly get used to that?
I sort of got used to it, really. It's even when there was like I was just a singer, I used to sort of write my lyric patterns and vocal patterns mainly due to the guitar. So it was already like that in that sort of system anyway. But sort of just practice. I just practiced, like spent hours just sing along the CD while playing bass and just picked it up.
So at the moment, I don't think the drummer's stool is occupied. How are you dealing with the lack of a noisy stickman and all that kit to carry around?
Pause.
Basically, just asking people how to help out. Really, we've had Jack from A Talk help us out for a couple of gigs, and Barney, who was in Extreme Noise Terror, and bands like that help us out as well. Like I say, we at the moment it's not really a serious problem because there's no gigs going on at the moment, but still on the lookout. Hopefully, when all this stuff sort of clears up or we can get back to gigging, we'll find a drummer.
So are you taking auditions? You taking names? Is anyone's interested? Should they drop you a line?
Yeah, definitely. So check us on Facebook. Like I say, we're again, like Dave was saying, we're probably a bit picky, but of course we need people who are dedicated and want to do it. Really, we've had people in the past who are like I said about bass players, people have been a bit flaky, and it's like some message saying I want to do it, and then you say, all right, we'll organise an audition, and they like on the day of the audition say, oh, I can't man. It's like, okay.
Yeah, that's a good sign, isn't it, that they're not going to turn up on time for gigs.
Yeah. So it's just like at the beginning, we got people to help us out in the first gig, the few gigs we did. Like we've got Jack in and stuff, but we've got Josh, a guy called Josh, to help us out as well for the Birmingham gig. But you're from Dismanibus, but yeah, we just see how it goes, really.
So who played on the EP, the new EP?
They're actually programmed.
Okay, so it's fully digital.
Yeah, I programmed a lot of them.
Okay. I wouldn't have.
Seemed like the best way to do it.
I wouldn't have known that from listening to their. That's really. I guess it's with with triggers and all the effects and all the editing that people now do post production, and on drums especially, and you can hear for me like the Lamb of God drumming that sounds like it's been made in an Atari anyway. That hides that a little bit more than you'd expect, because usually I think I can fucking tell if it's a drum machine. It's like it sounds like fucking godflesh, but I'm quite shocked by that.
The kick's always replaced anyway, just straight out the gate. It's replaced for everything ever. Yeah. The snare's nearly always blended as well. I can't think of anything where it's not. At that point, you're basically using programmed drums anyway. So it made sense for the three of us, just from a production point of view, to just say, fuck it, we'll just program it and it'll work.
Yeah. And is there a chance that you could end up taking that on the road? Could you end up kind of doing a live gig with the PlayStation plugged in behind you?
No, I think
we've discussed it, but probably not.
I like the feeling of someone being there.
Yeah.
And there's too many variables that can go wrong with programming drums, I think. Yeah, both the drummers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you got, you play so many gigs with a human drum behind you, and you can, if something's wandering off a bit or something, you can turn around and say, come on, get back in here now. It's like, this is what I'm playing. You got a drum machine going. It's like there's no leeway whatsoever. It's like
But the drum machine won't be wrong. It'll just be you guys are wrong.
No,
so
it'll be me that's wrong, and I'll be like, I want to kick the drum machine off the stage. It's like, but it is scary. I don't know. Is that a point we have to cross? I don't know. I'd rather not, but. We'll see.
I don't like this, the human factor. I think if it sounds too perfect, if it sounds too clinical, whereas when there's a human being playing, it sounds more human, and like you can go off tangents. If something's feeling really good, you can't just go, just carry this riff on and like interact with the crowd. If it's drum machine, you're like, oh,
It's
I
gonna
better
go-
carry on.
I've got
better,
30
like, carry on
seconds.
this-
Yeah. But at least it's there as a backup, I guess, if it all goes to shit. You
Yeah.
can,
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Do you rehearse, like, so when you come jam things like that, or you're playing some of the older songs from the earlier albums? Are they all programmed into the machine as well? Are you kind of playing along, or do you just ignore the drums when you're rehearsing?
Yeah, when we're rehearsing like here, we do. I said that they're on the computer and stuff, and they're programmed in just to go along with them. But in the actual rehearsal room, nothing beats like a real drummer.
Yeah. Even if it's just someone to take the piss out of.
Yeah.
Always. Yeah.
Okay, so of Gods and Beasts, new EP coming, I think 7th of August. Heavy Hitting Day coming out the same day as Onslaught's new album. That's a well chosen release date there.
That today.
So it's featuring 3 new tracks. How did that songwriting process work? Are one of you the key songwriter, or is it a bit more of a kind of amalgamation and passing shit backwards and forwards and kind of just working it through by jamming, really?
It varies from song to song. Most of the time, it's Lee'll come up with the riff, and then we'll sort of work out the structure between us, and then Neil does the vocals. There's a couple where I just sort of go, here's a song. But most of the time it's quite backwards and forwards. Lee does the riffs, I do the structure, Neil does the vocals.
Yeah, it's basically been. There's 3 new songs on the EP, and there's like 2/3 of them was myself.
Yeah.
And it is basically I'll come up with the riffs, and Dave I'll write them, Dave arranges them and records them on Reaper, and then we just work it out.
Play around with it till it works.
Over a couple of weeks, like what the structure will be and stuff like that. And so it's a very very democratic process as far as bands go, to be fair. So yeah.
No, we don't have egos in this band. We just just get together, jam something out. Lee comes out a riff, and then we don't say, "Oh, I ain't playing that bit because I didn't make that up," or nothing like that. It's just a democratic sort of thing, and just like again, it's like we do this old school feel. We just like jam out. If it feels great, then just evolves from there.
I mean, there's been a few times and I'm like, oh no, it's like, I'm not dissing on the riff, but I can't play that. So you're gonna have to change it.
We'll keep the idea, but can you kind of dumb it down a bit, because I'm never going to be able to play that.
Exactly. I'm getting older. I'm like 41, boy. So it's like...
And I was just about to say that, actually. You guys are, of a slightly more later generation than some of the other bands that I speak to. I think I had some guys on a couple of weeks ago that I've got T-shirts older than they are, which is quite scary. Do you have you seen that difference, like coming back, especially with that few years gap? Are you kind of looking around and thinking, fucking half these kids aren't old enough to be in here for a pint, let alone play a thrash gig? Are you kind of feeling like the older statesman again?
Well, I remember when we when I first started the band in 2007. It was like you had bands like Evil. I know they're still going, but they haven't really put anything out for like ages. But then you had like Pitfall Rain, you had like Deadfall, and all these like new wave of thrash metal bands that came out like sort of mid 2000s, like 2004, 2005. Like Mutant, what we went on tour with, like all those bands. It's like they're no longer they're no longer sort of doing it anymore. And so you think, it's like it is like all these new bands. Yeah, it does feel a bit like you're the older, but it just kicks you in the ass. It makes you gets you more motivated and think, let's show these youngsters how to thrash and stuff.
Do you think they although you can still kick the most of their asses, do you think they got some advantage? They get the digital generation a bit more. They're all tuned into Spotify from the day they're born and social media and all that sort of stuff. Have you had to kind of pull your finger out a little bit on some of that stuff and get into start competing in that? Because I guess 2007 Facebook was only just born, and
I think we started MySpace.
Yeah, we lost
we
it.
started
MySpace.
we started MySpace. There was no Twitter, no Facebook, or what I can remember. Yeah, there was no nothing like Spotify. YouTube was YouTube started. Had YouTube started?
I'm not sure when YouTube began. It seems to have been around forever, but it can't have been around for that long, can it?
YouTube was definitely around in 2007.
But
Well,
on dial-up. Yeah.
that's so weird.
yeah. Well, basically, I feel so old and in the way because I'm like the oldest person in here. So anything like social media or anything, I was like, yeah, Neil, take care of it. Dave, he's really good at it. And I was like, I'll just have my pipe and my slippers and sit in the sun and have a cup of tea. It's absolutely fine. You know, it's like, and heat. Yeah. So, yeah, I actually, I feel I've been a bit left behind in the, because I'm not social media savvy and all that stuff. So
I do agree. I do say it is like nowadays you have to be up with social media. So it's like because I do my own YouTube channel myself. I do Metal TV on YouTube. I've had to sort of get used to that sort of thing. Do like the Twitter, Facebook, and all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, I sort of keep an eye on that sort of thing. But yeah, social media, I think that is a big thing. Yeah, maybe they've got an advantage, but nothing old dog can't learn.
So the new EP, is there a specific theme around it? Obviously, from a musical point of view, it's a kind of a democratic system. But if you're writing the lyrics, Neil, has it got a theme going throughout it? Are they kind of standalone songs, or
You've kind of got I think like In the Name of Violence says what the name says what is on the tin. Really, it's like it's basically about sort of violence, the world around us. We live in a buddy I don't know, this day and age is a bit shit, really. There's like, there's like, again, there's a pandemic going on, wars every 5 minutes. So that's where that sort of comes on. They're just the anger and the people being pissed off in the world. That's where that comes from. The return was mainly kind of like just us returning, just like generally sort of just getting back in the swing of things. People picking themselves up from like struggles and hardships and just pushing forward and basically returning from the world of a black hole they're sort of trying to struggle from. And then what I've done is like a bit of Lovecraft, Bloodborne as well. So yeah, let's bring those sort of elements, more Lovecrafty sort of elements into it as well.
Obviously, live music has been completely shit over the past 4 months. What's the obviously things are starting to be lifted. We've seen a few open air gigs going on and some other stuff. Have you got hopes that you're going to manage to set foot on a stage again in the next couple of months?
We'll see what happens, really. Again, practice rooms aren't even open this week yet. So okay. Practice rooms haven't even been opened yet around our way. A lot of venues around our way haven't opened up. So we'll see what happens, really. It depends how the fans want to do, really. It's like if punters don't feel safe or not to go out to gigs, then is there really much financial point or to put gigs on at the moment? If they're and then if like so, I know they've said like you can have like indoor and outdoor gigs of you can social distancing, but when you've got like a 300 capacity venue and you can only have like 100 people turn up or whatnot. Is that really going to be?
Who's it viable for? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Play by ear. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say we're dying to get back on stage and stuff, and we'd love to get sort of play again, but it depends. It all depends really. We don't want to rush things. We want our fans to be safe, and we want want everyone to be safe and not rush back and things to be shit basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Better to get back and do a decent gig than get back to a social distance fucking mosh pit with everyone 2 meters apart and
it's kind of like
shitless.
yeah.
I think with social distancing is we know you have to do it and stuff, but it's just like like gigs it would just suck the life out. If everyone's just standing there like I can't really move in case I get too close to someone, it's just not going to be enjoyable for anyone. Like it's not going to be enjoyable for the fans, it's not going to be enjoyable for us. And then people, if the first lot of gigs aren't going to be enjoyable, then people will be like, oh, I'll just wait. I'll just stay at home and ride the wave out, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it was bad enough when bands started having, you couldn't even getting your audience's faces, because they had a barrier like 5 feet away from the stage, and it's like that's bad enough, but you know, it's like I don't know, social distancing metal gigs are, I don't know.
Doesn't really go together, does it?
But I don't know if it'll
I don't know if it'll work too much. I don't know. You know.
I guess if it's an outdoor venue, it makes that a little bit easier as well, you know, where, you know, nice beer garden. I saw, I watched the 0161 community, and they had some gigs up in Oldham over the weekend, and, you know, big open beer garden, nice stage, a few local bands playing, you know, at least people, I think, have missed that live music, and, you know, I think for a lot of us, kind of going to a gig does as much for our mental well-being as much as anything else. So, you know, being able to go listen to a bit of live music's a good call. So when you do get back, how much of the back catalogue is in the set? Do you go back right to the very start? Have you two newbies had to go back and learn the whole back catalogue, you know, just in case Neil?
Oh yeah.
Oh, do you remember this track 3 on the first EP? Let's play it. You know, is it a bit of that?
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember when I first joined the band, and we were like doing that gig in Birmingham. I was like, Neil sent me over, was it 7 tracks?
Yeah.
And I was like, never heard them before. So I ain't got any tab books, I ain't got any Spotify. I'll learn them though. So basically, and the trouble is that half the songs were in one tuning and half the songs were in the other tuning. So it's like for a whole month, all I did was get home from work and then go, sorry girlfriend, you're gonna have to go away in the bedroom for a minute because I've got to prep my stuff. And it was like learning everything by ear. It's great. It's like it made me feel like I was when I was a kid. I used to learn as a Justice for All album.
Yeah,
I learned that pretty much by listening to the tape over and over and over again. That's what I did.
And you might not play it exactly the same way that Hetfield does, but it sounds the same to most people who are listening.
Exactly. And then just switch over guitars halfway through the set because that's in a slightly different tuning. But then we just play everything in the same tune anyway. So it was good. So, and it all worked out pretty good. So
yeah. It's like Kerry King said. It's like if you want to hear the exact, like, because some people moan about him not playing the exact same solos live, and he's like, well, if you want to hear the exact same solos, go back home, put a CD on, and listen to that. And he goes, well, it's like when you're a live performance, it is a live performance. It's an art. Playing live music is an art, and it's just like it's more human if you like express your emotions. When you don't have to play it the same all the time. Yeah. Just as long as it sounds like good and slightly the same, then yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah. As long as it kind of infers the same song, you can get away with it to a point.
Yeah.
Ipswich kind of area. Obviously, it's home to OG legend himself, Mr. Psychob, who I was speaking to you about. I was chatting to him the other night, and I said I was interviewing you guys. So he was like, "You go, oh, great lads." So you got kind of a thumbs up from side straight away. Is there a bit of a thrash legacy in the area, or is it kind of, you know, just you and Si?
I think East Anglia have, because you've got Errol from Kilohertz, he's Norwich-based. He ran Thrashosaurus for 5 years,
about that, yeah,
something like that. There's a lot of thrashy stuff around, isn't there?
And you got Shrapnel as well. Shrapnel's from Norwich as well. And yeah, just like that. There's I think there's a big punk element in. There's a punk element in Ipswich as well. Like you've got Stupids and stuff like that, and Addicts, yeah. And then there's a kind of like, 'cause you had ENT as well. Extreme Noise Terror comes through Ipswich. I think, and then obviously the big one, Cradle of Filth, is also Ipswich as well. So there's a metal scene as well. I think it's the with the younger generation, because they're mostly used to like YouTube and stuff. They kind of like to stay at home and watch YouTube and stuff. And there's people putting gigs on. Darren, Dead Soul Promotions, he puts a lot of gigs on as well, and in Ipswich as well. So there is a scene. Yeah, it's sort of, I think, sort of 5 years ago, it sort of fluctuated a bit, but it's grown again. I think it's like when with like you had like loads of death metal bands at one point, then they sort of again people decided to want to get married and have kids. They split up. Then it was when a bit of a lull, and then bands started forming again and kicking off, and yeah,
it's definitely cyclical, isn't it? You know, you see thrash ebbs and flows over a period of time, and you know things change. But you're talking, so there's live venues going on. Is there a good local scene from kind of crowds and fans as well, or do you need to get into London, or what's the kind of local attendance like? Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, like I say, Darren Smith from Dead Soul Promotions, he's probably the main promoter in Ipswich. He gets quite a lot of crowd. He works his arse off as well. So he goes out. He's pretty old school as well. He still likes flyering as well. Old school, going out and handing out flyers. He put metal nights on a Monday night as well, and does all that sort of stuff. So yeah, he works his arse off and gets quite a good crowd as well.
Yeah, you need someone like that in the scene that's going to, work his bollocks off for all you guys in the bands, really, because otherwise it's kind of a bit hard to motivate yourselves to keep doing it if no one's showing you any love. So what about the rest of the scene? Is there any kind of particular bands at the moment that you're going, fucking hell, they're game changing, or they're really kind of starting to step it up? Have you you keep an eye on what's going on? Obviously, who's that? Sorry,
definitely.
Where are they from?
They're from Cannock. Yeah. That's Asa and the
That's it.
Yeah.
They are fucking amazing.
Yeah, really.
We played with them in. I think we played a Colchester gig in December, and they supported, and they were really, they were really kick ass.
Yeah, they're really good. They supported. Who did I sing with? Annihilator just before Christmas. Nice guys as well. But what else is out there? Obviously you mentioned Shrapnel. They've had a bit, possibly one of the kind of rated albums of the year. People have been talking about that. They kind of seem to have really stepped up their game since changing vocalists and stuff as well.
Yeah, Aaron's fucking on it.
It's a bit, again, it's a kind of like a change of pace for them as well, because it's like you had Jay, who was probably more the more black and thrash for a vocalist, but then you got like Aaron, who's probably brought more melody and more like, I'm not say singability, but he's brought that more sort of more singing and a bit more more melody into the vocals, and it sounds really cool, man.
Yeah, I saw that. I think it was their first gig. They supported Acid Rain for the Age of Entitlement launch party in Boston rooms, and they supported that. And it's always a risk, isn't it? You can change guitarists, you can change bassists, but changing the vocalist is a
tough one.
That's a tough one, isn't it? But I was having the same chat with Jeff earlier on about changing Onslaught vocalist going from side. That's a big risk to take for any band, big or small, because it can turn people on or off. Vocalist is a very Marmite thing, isn't it?
Especially with Sai, because seeing as he's like such a iconic sort of vocalist and he's all quite unique for like Onslaught. Is like but isn't the guy from Bull Riff Stampede?
Yeah, who's also they're the Bristol gift that keeps on giving, because obviously they gave up the new vocalist for Zentrix as well. So they've all moved on. But that's. Back to yourself. What's what's next for you? Where does the band go next? Are you looking at a full album? A tour? What try and get around the country? Get out of the Shire. What's next?
I think the main focus now is we're gonna, obviously the EP's out next month, but now it's focused on writing a new album, and obviously I don't know, playing gigs is we'd love to play gigs, but at the moment that's not our main focus, because of all this stuff going on, until there's a definite sort of guidance and focus of what live gigs can happen. We're just sort of getting on. We're writing a new album, come down here, get all these riffs together, chop and change, and just choose the best ones, and hope in the beginning of next year get an album out, and then tour on that.
Yeah, it sounds like that's already started. Have you got a couple of outline skeletons in the ready to start?
Got a few gems in the rough, so it's getting there.
And do you, do you try and push those out? Do you play them at a gig before you actually go into recording? Do you try and road test a couple of them, or do you try and keep them under wraps?
Hopefully, well, I wouldn't mind doing a couple. Plus, you get the, I think you don't get the full grasp of how good the songs are until you like play in a live setting. Because if you once you're like in like the when you're writing, it's just like you write and you think, oh, that sounds cool. Once you play them live, you're like, actually, that sounds a bit pants playing live. So you want to think, oh, maybe we shouldn't.
Some work.
Maybe we should work on that a bit more. But yeah, I like sort of at least a couple, just like it also teases the fans and gets them sort of them hungry for the album.
You're obviously, pretty stoked to be having a new EP out, and obviously after a big long wait. Have you shared it around a bit? Have you shared it with some kind of loyal followers and friends that have a listen, make sure we're not doing anything too mental? Have you teased people?
A few people we know we've sort of played to, and they've been like, yeah, it sounds really cool, man. So okay, I'm hoping that all the other fans are gonna sort of love it. We love it, and so it's heavy, it's fast, and yeah, it's something you can wreck your next to. So yeah, it's just gonna be cool, man.
Brilliant.
And it's got a tune to it. So.
Okay, finally, kind of shout outs, plugs, social media hustle, anything else you want to throw out there for the for people listening to go and find you, Anne?
It's just facebook.com/Elimination UK, Instagram Elimination UK. Basically, it's YouTube as well. Elimination Band, Spotify. We're
on Spotify, Amazon, everything you can get on. It'll all be up there. Google Play if anyone uses that.
Bandcamp as well. Bandcamp.
Idle if you're fucking loaded and crazy. We're on Deezer.
Deezer, yeah.
Apparently it's all on TikTok as well.
And TikTok, yeah.
TikTok. Who set that up?
I did.
So it's not an apparently, it's a definitely.
all our distribution stuff goes through DistroKid, so it's wherever DistroKid can get it for us. They do all the digital distribution.
Don't expect no TikTok videos though.
No.
That's one thing I'm putting my foot down. TikTok and go and suck one.
What about pre-orders for the EP? By your Bandcamp, I know you're doing bundles and stuff.
Bandcamp, we do bundles, we do t-shirt bundles and whatnot. Just Elimination Band on Bandcamp. Go down there. EP is $6.99 at the moment. £6. Yeah, £6.
So
you can pay $6.99 if you want. So,
$6.99 with a 99p discount. Yeah.
You can give us like 20 quid if you want, really. But t-shirts. There's a bundle for like see the EP and the t-shirt as well. So yeah, get on there. We need money to feed ourselves. So yeah, go buy loads of merch.
Perfect. Guys, thanks for that. Great, good luck with the EP. Hopefully catch you soon. I'll head off to the East Coast to come and check you out.
Thank you, man. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, mate.
And that was Elimination, In the Name of Violence. Okay, last track for the day. This is Sidewinder and Ashes of Reality. And that's the end of episode 10. Thank you to Elimination for joining us in the studio. Next week we've got Jeff from Onslaught. Check us out online at UK Thrashers in all the normal places, and of course keep checking on the Spotify back issues for all the old podcasts. See you next week. This is a 2020 UK Thrashers production. All music is used with kind permission of the original owners and bands. Please don't steal it. Get over to Bandcamp, buy some music, get on it.